So we're starting this video on the road. So I was on the Facebook Marketplace, and if you've been watching the channel for long enough, you'll notice, or have noticed, that that's where I get a lot of my deals. So typically I'll get on the Marketplace, hunt down bunch of computer parts, pre-builds, whatever I can find for a good deal, in which I'm able to either put a computer together or take what they have, make it better, and flip it for a profit. And a good majority of the time, I'm very successful. And there's always that time or two where, well, I get hosed. So this deal popped up on the Facebook Marketplace. I'll post a picture up on the screen, and it was $300. He initially wanted $600 for it. He was asking $300. I offered $200. And if you're looking at the pictures, you're probably saying, it looks a little old. I mean, might not be worth it. What intrigued me, I thought I was getting pulled over. What intrigued me about this post was what I saw in the pictures. So we have an X99 platform. You know, you got to do the whole zoom in action. X99 looks like it has maybe 4 sticks of DDR4 memory, which that's pretty good in itself. So if we at least have 32, that's a perk. And X99 still holds up pretty well, makes for a good gaming rig, and if we pair it with a nice graphics card, it should work really well. As you can see, it's water cooled. It has 2 980s SLI, which we all know SLI is not really a thing, but still be fun to play with. But it's water cooled. Has a nice big radiator up at the top. I think it was ID cooling, if I'm recalling the picture off the top of my head. So it's got some good values, but the biggest thing that really caught my eye is the case. The case is a Case Labs case, and if you're familiar with Case Labs and their cases and the market for it, they sell for a pretty penny. I didn't get to do enough research on this one, kind of had to move on this deal, but some of their cases sell upwards of $500. I've seen them go a little higher than that. Not sure if this is the one that sells for that one. I think it's actually the bigger version of it, but even so, looking at the pictures, $200, it's a pretty good deal. I could definitely get a computer out of it, to say the least, and I'm really in it for the case. And that's not the first time I've bought an older computer for the case. But anyways, so this deal is about an hour and 20 minutes away. Let's get there. Hopefully the seller remembers that I'm coming. I did message him on the Facebook Marketplace, and he didn't respond. So that's concerning. But he did agree to meet today at 1 o'clock, so, and hopefully get something good out of it. So let's get to driving. All right, folks, so we're almost there. Got about 8 more minutes, 4 more miles. And that's one thing I will say I enjoy about these used parts hustles, is that it takes me to places I've never been before. I love the back road country driving, especially when I live in a semi-small next to a big city, whatever the case it's called. This is the part I enjoy the most. So we should be there in a few minutes, and yeah, hopefully it should be good. Thankfully, on the plus side, I just got this truck, kind of traded up vehicles. So if you're curious on what I keep driving and the madness behind my logic, or the logic behind my madness, check out my other channel, DLM Garage. As yeah, constantly moving vehicles around. So recently just got this one and decided to stretch its legs. The plus side, I have not gotten stuck. The downside, found a whole bunch of other problems I gotta fix, but that's to be expected on older vehicles. So it's actually an hour later from meeting up with the dude, and got the computer. It's in the back of the truck. I was hungry, and this place closes at 3, so this is New York Bagel and Deli. Phenomenal, especially for being in North Carolina. Probably is the closest I've gotten to actual New York Bagel. They close at 3. It is like 2:30. Caught them just in time. Got myself a nice bacon egg sandwich. I'm excited to eat that, along with a nice pastry. Flippin' amazing place. If you're ever in Cary, North Carolina, I definitely recommend it. So now to show you what we got. The Case Lab case. I mean, this thing is a beast. I didn't really realize how big this thing is. But man, 1, 2, 3, 4 fans on the top. Can we kind of get in there? Can I sneak peek? Well, yeah. So I didn't really check it. Kind of went on the guy's word. I know, you gotta be careful, but I mean, it has the monster case. You can see the coolant reservoir, so yeah, it's got to be all there. But for $200, not a bad deal. I've sent some pictures. I got some feelers out, so if I wanted to sell this, I have some people offering me like $200 for it. I don't think I'm going to go that route. Actually, I'm fairly confident I'm not going to go that route because I think I'm probably going to keep this for a project for myself. But I can't wait to dive into the stuff in here, see exactly what it is and if it runs. And on a side note, I am glad I got a pickup truck because, I mean, this is a Chevy 1500. It was designed for this. Flipping awesome. Pretty cool. So on a side note, I am on a diet. Can you tell? I mean, just look at this bagel. Oh my gosh, the bacon, the egg, everything bagel. And then this, they call it a chocolate cigar. Looks delicious. So I'm gonna scarf this down and then get back on the road. I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna be able to pick up anything else on this deal. So typically when I go this far out, I put out a bunch of offers and nobody has gotten back to me. Not even lowball offers, actually fair offers because there's some good prices. Maybe it's because it's the July 4th weekend and everybody's out and about. A couple of cases, no response because I definitely could use some computer cases for some flips and projects I got going on. Some graphics cards, just a whole bunch of decent stuff that would actually be a real good deal. But yeah, nobody's responding. At least this dude did, so that was awesome. There is a graphics card on my way home that I'm going to try to pick up. It's an RX 580. Seller says he hasn't tested it. It's in a box. He just got it like that. So he wants 40 for it. I'll offer him the 40. I'll take the gamble. Looking at the pictures, it looks flipping clean, like it's never been used. So if we get that one, I'll turn the camera back on, show you. If not, then the next scene will be me at the house trying to lift this massive thing out of the truck and hope I don't go for back surgery number 3. So stay tuned. All right, so as I'm about 30 minutes away from my home, all the deals and everybody in Cary reached out and they're like, hey, come get it, come get it. 2 cases that I was really interested. One was a Fantex Enthuse, another one was a Musitech case, RGB, a whole bunch of fans. That would have been fantastic for some computers that I need to put together and flip. But unfortunately, I'm far away and I don't feel like driving all the way back over there. And that's usually how it rolls. I might try to make another day of it, maybe in a couple of days, but driving 2 hours, if I'm gonna drive 2 hours, I have to make it worth it. Getting that case was definitely worth it. With that stuff inside, that is just really cool stuff, and I can't wait to mess with that. But on the pleasant side, the RX 580 that I talked about earlier, if I talked about it earlier, they wanted 80, they wanted 60, they had it for 80, lowered it to 60, then they went to 40. I offered 20, and the reason behind that is that in the listing they said they found it in the clean out, don't know if it works, which is fine, it is what it is. But if I could get it for $20, and looking at the pictures, it looks real clean, like maybe they upgraded and just put it away or just bought it, I don't know, not 100% sure. But if I could get that for $20 in working condition, that's perfect. I love the RX 580s for my budget flips. I usually like to stick around the $40 price range. That has always been pretty decent if I know they're working. Because this one, I don't know it's working. $20 is what I'm a little more comfortable to gamble with. So we'll see. It's only about 10-15 minutes away from my area. So drive out there, see what I get, and hopefully we score pretty good. So all right, so it's an XFX box, but it's an MSI card. Let's take a look at it. I mean, $20. Don't know if it works. I mean, it doesn't look bad. And I'm not seeing anything suspicious in nature. It might work, it might not work. We'll see. We'll plug it in when we get back to the house. If not, well, at least I'll have a good decoration for the wall. So let's get moving. So we've made it back. The computer has survived, and man, this thing is heavy. So just kind of give a rough look at it. Case Labs case, just kind of open the side. Whoops, okay, yeah, that's there. We'll address that later. Let's open up this right over here, and yeah, just like you said. So MSI X99A SLI Plus. These are supposed to be 2 980s with the SLI, because that was the thing. EVGA 1000-watt power supply. I mean, this massive radiator. This is pretty cool. Wow, drain back valve. This is nice. Now, from what I gather, he said the coolant is dirty. This thing needs to be serviced, which I mean, as you're looking at it, we'll have to do a cleaning, make sure everything's nice and tight. So we'll have to definitely dive into this. The graphics card, which we'll plug that in the test bench. We'll test that, make sure that's good. But so far, not bad. $220 for all this. I know we can make some profit on this case, but like I said earlier, that's not the way I'm going to go with it. I'm actually going to keep this for a personal project of mine. But the guts inside, we'll tinker around with it, we'll play with it, and we could definitely make some money and make our money back by combining these and that. Yeah, ideas going, folks. So right now, I am tired. I work night shift. I worked all night, slept like 3 hours just to go pick this up and do this. So I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna relax, take a shower, and when we come back, which might be tomorrow, might be a couple of days, might even be a couple of weeks. But for you guys, it'll probably be in a second. So we'll be back. So it's actually 2 days later, and we've had a heat wave, and working in the garage, you have a very small window before it's miserable. I don't have AC, and to just turn on the fans really messes up the video. Today we're supposed to have another heat wave of about 106 to 110 degrees. So it's 10:30. We're gonna just try to make sure this stuff works and then probably wrap up this video. So let's start with the graphics card. The Radeon RX 580, 8 gig, $20. Look pretty clean, so let's open it up. Now, just taking another look at it, I don't see anything to be of concern, so we might get lucky. I mean, for $20, if this thing works perfect, then we're good. Normal dust and stuff on it. Let's just pop it in. Here goes nothing. Fans are spinning. Could be a good sign. Sweet, we got a screen. I got a little nervous because it turned on and off like 2-3 times. Now I believe I do have a M.2 in here. Not sure. Might be a 500 gig 256. I initially had this in another build project, so this is my test bench, and I kind of transferred it over. So let's let this thing boot into Windows, run a stress test on it, and see if this thing is still good. Folks, this is what I'm talking about. $20 for an RX 580 in fantastic condition, running Heaven benchmark. Been running it for over 30 minutes. Temperature 73 degrees Celsius, no glitches, artifacting, or hiccups. This thing is in great condition. Runs really good, and I'm sure with some fresh thermal paste and an environment that's like not 100 degrees Fahrenheit, this thing would run very well and a lot quieter. So $20 for the win. That is the gamble you take. Sometimes the gambles are worth it, sometimes they're not. In this case, we took a gamble for $20. Definitely worth the win. We'll go in a good budget PC flip. And there have been times where I've spent money like that and I've been hosed. That's the name of the game. Those are the risks you take, but sometimes you end up with something decent. So let's move on to the monster computer and let's see what we got. So now on to the monster computer, and this was the whole reason that I even took the drive and went out there. The graphics card, that was just something on the way back, but this was the reason. A CaseLab case, and if you all know CaseLab, their cases were monster, massive, great for water cooling, and right now they go for a penny. This one, I think it's the Merlin. I haven't done too much research on it, but I think it's the Merlin version of it. I saw one like it, but it actually had a glass over here, or tempered glass, whatever you call it, or the acrylic. And I know he said he's done something. He upgraded the buttons. I think that's what he did, but it's actually pretty cool how he did it. Nice feel clicky button. It's a little dirty, as you can see, but it's got the Vardar F120 Ford F-150 fans, so that's cool. From EK, and I guess everybody hates EK lately. I don't know, haven't kept up with that. So this is what we got. It's got water. It's a little,
crusty there, dusty. Ooh, that looks rough over there. These are, is everything EK on this? Not 100% sure. So we got the EK block right over here. Yeah. Now, as far as specs and everything, I know it's an X99. He didn't remember the CPU that he had on it. So I guess we'll figure that out. These are two 980s and SLI back when that was a thing. That'd be pretty cool if we had a third one. Not that it would matter or make a difference, but you know, maybe something to consider in the future. Probably not. I don't know. So this one has a back plate. This one does not. Possibly two different versions, but if it works, it works. This one might be a Founders Edition, and I don't know, maybe you just took the back plate off of that one. Looks slightly different. A Supernova 1000 watt P2 power supply. And as far as the memory, can we take a look in there? It says 32 gigs, so it might be 32 gigs of memory, which is awesome. This fan is just clogged and dusty. It's got a drain valve, which I think that's pretty nice. That'll make it a little easier to kind of, you know, empty this out. He left some of the remnants of, where'd he go? Well, it was around here a minute ago. Where'd it go? Come on. Of where he cut the tubing, so yeah. Overall, pretty cool, but this radiator is just massive. OC cool, D cool. I'm not familiar with the water cooling, folks, so if I'm quoting this all wrong and everything, like I said, this is not my forte. Now this case is heavy, so what I'm going to do is I want to take a look on this side and see what we got going on over here. All right, we can see the custom wiring that he did. Okay, pretty nice. We got a hub up here for all the fans, cable extensions, red. This is where you mount the drives, which that's pretty cool. Overall, looks complete. I mean, looks to have everything that it has. I think the way to honestly do this, if I was to go or get into water cooling, is put a 360 or a 480 or whatever the math is right up here, and then run, you know, for the graphics card, one for the graphics card, one for the CPU. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, but one thing I do know is we need to test it and fire it up. So I think let's take off these panels and start there. So these slide up just like so, which is kind of nice. And of course, my table is all dented, so nothing is sitting like it should. So now let's get this on the bench. Whoa, heavy. Yep, back surgery number 3. Channel shutting down. Oh, jeez. There we go. Man. To put it into perspective, that's my bench, and that's the case. It's pretty tall. So we got this in, we got this in. Need my USB dongle, which they don't have it here. Let's put it in the back. All right, let's see. Is the power supply clicked on? Probably not. Nope, definitely not. All right, let's push this one. What is this one? All right, so it turned off. Now it's turning on. Okay, so it's a PNY. We know we got a PNY. This loop does not seem like it's doing anything. I think this thing has a drive in it. It does. It has a 250 gig storage drive. He said that there was no drives in it. That's a win for me. And it's a, oh, you can't see it, but it's a 960 Evo. That's a score right there. So maybe he took out his other drives that had his games or whatnot. My concern is, well, that's not working. So let's play with this off camera and we'll come back. We'll figure out the specs, what we got, and see if I can get this thing turning on. So we got updates. So here's where we're at with it. X99 SLI Plus, the i7 5930. Never mess with these, never mess with that CPU. Pretty cool. 32 gigs of DDR4. But the issue that I see that we're running into is, well, temp's 56 degrees, and that's just being idle, passive. This pump is not kicking on. I've tried different headers, I've tried tapping it to see if it could shake loose, but I don't know how well you can see it. This thing is a little corroded. You can tell it's been sitting for a while. Maybe they just use regular tap water instead of distilled water. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, I'd have to take this thing apart, clean it, test the pump, see if we could bring the pump back to life, and then thoroughly clean this loop. So that's definitely going to be a project for later, because I want to tinker with this. I want to see, you know, the i7 5930K. You know, how well does it perform? 980s. You know, play some games. I think like the original Tomb Raider, you were able to use SLI. But either way, this would be a really cool experience. I have checked the cables, and all the cables seem to be plugged in the back. Judging by how corroded this is, it could be just the pump is just stuck from calcium buildup and deposits. He did say it sat for a while, so I'll give him that. All right, so I wanted to play a little more with it. So I got into the BIOS, tweaked the settings. I changed it. Did I go all full speed? Yeah. Okay. So System Fan 2 is working, that's where the pump is plugged into, and it's showing that it's spinning at almost 2,000 RPMs. Looking at it, we are getting some flow. So it could just be an issue that we got a blockage, a restriction in the lines. I mean, as crusty as it is, it wouldn't surprise me. So I'm more confident that if we clean this thing thoroughly, we could restore the flow, get the temperatures better. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing hasn't been serviced in a long time. So just a side note, I'm really antsy to kind of dive into this, but it's getting really hot in the garage. But I think what I want to do is just empty this fluid, this hose, kind of shove it in here. This is not ideal. And just get enough length. Cut it. All right, so let's see if we could just get this water out. Let's open this thing up a little bit, or a lot of it, or all the way. Let's see what comes out. This seems to be working. Yeah, there's a little bit of debris and stuff in here. I can already see it because I already cleaned this bucket, so. So pretty much what I would have to do is take out the graphics cards, open up the blocks, clean everything out, clean all the passages. Same thing with this, flush this out, and maybe this thing will have a chance. Now, I've never dived into water cooling. Well, okay, I've done a little bit like basic cheap water cooling, but I've never done like the whole big water cooling thing, you know, something fancy like this. And some of you are probably saying, hey, this is not fancy. Well, to me it is, because, you know, this stuff is, you know, this is stuff right here. Oh, no. This is why you got to leave things alone, guys. Now, this is not done to the best, but done as good as I guess they could. So my goal is to blow into this, and yes, I know I'm blowing germs into it, but we're going to be flushing the system. But I want to get everything out, because I truly don't believe that's all the water that's in here. Well, it's a start. All right, so got all the water out. Actually had to use this to kind of blow it through this line, and then it kind of forced everything out. So I'm sure there's still some residual in there, but at least it kind of gives me an idea of what I'm working with, and I'll show you what's in the bucket in just a second. I think the last thing we're just gonna do real quick is just blow all this dust out, and yeah, we should be done. This project is gonna get a little bigger. At least we can say we started. So let's take a look at this water, and maybe I can find a better light. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of sediment. Yeah, definitely a lot of sediment. I mean, there's junk in there. And it smells pretty bad. So hopefully the stuff is still good. To me, maybe they didn't use the, like I said, they probably used regular tap water. They didn't use the biocides in it. I know there's a lot of things that you need to do to kind of help prolong the metal in the water. Plus, you know, maintenance is, that's a thing. We definitely want to do that. But yeah, you can see, I mean, it's just, we definitely have to clean that out. Looks like the copper's all kind of faded over there, so we could clean that out. Definitely have to clean this out. So there is a lot of work to do. So let's give you my thoughts and the plans. So here's the plan. Don't really have one. Just kind of gonna go with the flow and wing it. But what I am thinking about doing is kind of restoring it. And hear me out. Is it worth it? Depends on the person. I think this is a really cool platform. It's a really cool setup, but the key thing is that this is an awesome case. They have some values. I put some feelers out. I've had offers for the case, and long story short, I am not going to be selling this case. I thought about it, and that was my intent when I bought it, because I could sell this case and easily recoup my money and then some on the case alone. Take this platform, put it into another computer with just one 980, and build a budget gaming rig for about $200-300. So I could definitely triple my money at least. Kind of going off the numbers I have in my head and what I've been offered. But anyways, I really like this case. I see why Case Lab cases cost a premium and money. Yes, it's more for the water cooling enthusiasts, which I've always wanted to do it. And when I started the channel in the beginning, I did some cheap Chinese one, and it worked, but it just looked cheap. And water cooling does cost a lot of money. It's is it really worth it? Yes and no. It's more of aesthetic, but I think I have the bones to kind of just get my feet wet. I would not run this as my main rig. Maybe just do it as a server. I don't know. All I do know is that I want to get this thing running as is. Of course, fix the issues that it has and see what it can do. So moving forward, I've already went ahead, dusted this out, drained the block just to kind of get that started. And this is going to be it's going to be a big project in the sense that I need to strip everything out. I need to clean this, clean the pump. I mean, just really go through and clean everything. First thermal paste on the graphics cards. I mean, yes, you're probably wondering, oh, how well does it run? It's probably going to not run as good as it should considering how old it is and it hasn't been maintained. But flush out the radiator, wipe this case down. This case is extremely dirty. It has the vape evidence. The guy was a vapor. It is what it is. So everything is sticky. So we're definitely gonna have to clean that pretty good. And then what I'm thinking about doing is actually switching to clear tubing. The black, yeah, I guess it does kind of look okay. But I think I'm gonna go with clear tubing. Get rid of this. I don't know if I'm gonna do this. I might get cable extensions and just do red. I'm not sure what the color theme I'm going to go with this, but I am going to restore this platform, play with it, have fun with it. give it one last hurrah. And then as far as the case, what system I'll put in here, I don't know. We'll see. Because realistically, if I wanted to, let's say, reuse this pump, if the pump is still good, which I'm pretty sure it is. I'm not sure what brand we got over here. Yeah, whatever brand that is. And obviously, I mean, these 980s, they're gonna have to go. Maybe I could try to just find the air coolers for them. I'm sure I could get them cheap and then just put them in a bunch of rigs and have two 980s for some budget builds. So I would have to get a CPU block, and then whatever graphics card I go with, I'd have to get the GPU block for that. And I do have a 3080 Founders Edition, so I might consider going that route for a future build. I don't know, I'm just kind of talking and just throwing ideas out there. But this is fun. This is going to be a bigger project, not my typical, you know, do it in half a day. This is going to take a couple of days. I am going to have to order a few things, a lot of cleaning, do this right, restore it and run this rig as is, and then plan for the next project. So comment down below, let me know your thoughts, concerns, criticism. Was this a good deal? $200 for a complete system, and a bonus, we have storage with a Case Labs case, the RX 580, perfectly working condition for $20. Well, yeah, $20 for that, $200 for this. Was it a good pickup? Was it a good score? What are your thoughts on this Case Lab case? And X99 years later, do we have hopes for it? If you like this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and as always, we'll see what we come up with next.